Alright guys, welcome. Today is a very important topic. I actually decided to make this video because this is the most important time of the year. This is a time of the year where you reflect on your life, what you would like to change, and setting new goals for the next year. So for that reason, we are going to be talking about this topic, which is reinventing ourselves within 90 days. And by the way, 90 days is a shortcut. Trust me, I started my journey 3 years and a half ago, and it wasn't up until a year and a few months, so maybe a year and 5 months, where I've actually started to start seeing results. So it was, if I were to give credit to something to why I'm actually seeing results, so the past few months we've been making 15 to 20k consistently. We have reached, or I have reached this point because of the changes. So okay, whatever you change in your life is actually a reflection to your results. So it's a direct relation. So whatever you get better at, whether your marketing skills, whether your copywriting, even things which you might think are indirect, such as hitting the gym, but in reality, it actually boosts your confidence. It just reduces your cortisol, aka your stress levels, which may impact your decision making skills. So, in a way, every single thing, like every single time you sharpen something about you, you will actually benefit your income. So that's exactly why I'm making this video, and this is a very important topic. So please get your notes and let's get started. This is a very important day, and I'm gonna try to make this quick, but this is honestly a very it's gonna take a while for me to break down everything. And as usual, I'm very transparent. I try to break down everything, and yeah, let's get started. So this is gonna be a reflection of me, my personal experiences, to what I had to change to actually be in a position where I'm at, and I'm actually gonna continue to, do the same things the years ahead. So the very first thing which I want you guys to focus on, you need to actually sacrifice a lot of things. Okay, this is my first highlight of the day. You need to understand you cannot actually improve in your life. Okay, think about it this way: you are trying to, you know, launch, okay, to this new journey, and you have a lot of baggage. There is a lot of things which you have been carrying over the years, whether it's bad friendships, bad habits, whatever it was. So you need to make sure that you unload as much baggage as you can before taking on this new journey. And this is really important because I'll tell you what happened if you kept, or what will happen if you keep this baggage. So this will actually create this uncertainty in a way, or it's just gonna make you not fully locked in on one thing. And this is very important. You don't want to be a lukewarm. So this is another really important term which I would like you to understand for today. Being a lukewarm means you don't want to be all around the place. You don't want to be like half into this thing and then half out. So you don't want to be uncertain about things. You need to be a man of intention or woman of intention, and just make sure that whatever decision you make, whether starting, branded organic dropshipping or whatever other side hustle you want to do, make sure you do it with full intention. And for you to do that, you actually need to sacrifice a lot of things for you to actually be able to take on this new journey. So I'll give you a personal experience. So I've had a lot of friendships, for example, who didn't necessarily benefit me because either it was too distracting or it was just too negative. Then there's another example is habits such as video games. You don't want to be playing video games. I've tried. So I used to stream back in the days during, the pandemic. So I tried to do like a 50-50, like a balance, work-life balance last year. Didn't work out either. For that reason, now I'm just all in on this one thing, which is ecom. And I literally, the moment I wake up to the moment I sleep, I am trying to improve something in the systems, whether it's the website, whether it's the marketing, creating better content, whatever it was. Something that will directly benefit the business. So this is really important. You cannot just be all over the place. Perhaps in the future, when you create systems which are, efficient enough, and you have people who are doing things for you, maybe you could, save some time to do other things, such as playing games or whatever. But I don't see the ROI on that. For that reason, these are like a few personal experiences or examples, but I really hope you guys understand the importance of just letting go and then taking on this new journey. This is the first really important topic or pillar for making this change, okay? Second one. So, for you to be able to take the courage or have the courage to take these sacrifices, it won't happen overnight. I would say you need to have an order. In other words, discipline. Okay? You need to have order to create a plan and then execute one thing at a time. So we are, by the time I'm recording this is 24th of December. Let's say you're watching this today. You could create a list of what are the things which are holding you back. It could be as little as being afraid of what others might think of you. And this is a big deal, by the way. A lot of people fear about this, okay? Especially if you were the type of person who was very social growing up and has a lot of friends, and then you reach a point where you don't want to share specific things because you don't want to get judged for it. Trust me. If that's you, which a lot of people faces, by the way, that's why they never grow, you need to let go. Either literally just dump all of your old accounts, create new accounts, and then start a new, like, fresh beginning. Or just take the sacrifice, like, just ignore. You just need to do things because it's your life at the end of the day. You can't be judged, because if you are fearful of what others might think of you for taking on the out of the norm sort of road or journey, such as starting a new side hustle, like today we're talking about e-com, for example, you're gonna have a lot of doubters. You're gonna have a lot of people who are gonna either be jealous or have some envy or just negative energy in general around you. So for that reason, you're better off just letting go the people who you are sure are not on the same journey. Just cut off everyone. This is what people like to call the lonely chapter. It's called the lonely chapter for a reason, because pretty much every single, I'm just gonna call it online money hustle, okay? Any sort of online money hustle, it doesn't start off as a fancy thing, regardless of what it is. Whether it's starting a clothing brand, whether it's starting e-com, like branded dropshipping, organic dropshipping in particular, is very humbling, this sort of thing. So you need to make sure that you do it in private. You don't need to share anything, and then you can celebrate your private victories. In particular, I mean, literally nobody knows about me, like from my old friends. So I advise you to do the same. Just, you don't need to share anything. Literally, just do you, work in silence, and then let the results, speak out loud. So this is what I mean by sacrifice, and order is what will make you execute. So this is gonna, once you create a plan of what you need to remove out of your life, you need to plan it. The order is what's gonna give you the list to execute. Okay, so you need to have order in terms of what do I need to remove out of my life, what changes do I need to make, what do I need to get, what do I need to add to my life. There's a lot of things which you need to answer, which I'll provide in a minute. But my point is, this is going to be more about action, and then this is going to be more about planning. So plan what to sacrifice, and then do it step by step. It won't happen overnight. From experience, it takes some time, but the best way to actually deal with it is to just do it, like do it instantly. So whether it's a bad habit, instantly stop it. And you cannot expect yourself to stop it just like that. You need to actually, I've heard it somewhere, it's like you're better off removing the stimulus, like completely out of your circle, than trying to ignore it while it's around you. Okay, so a very good example is, let's say you have this corner in your room with the desk, and this is where you play games, this is where you have fun, whatever. This is where you waste time, in more specific terms. So this is your PC. So instead of working here, okay, you should actually change your spot to another room or to another corner so that your brain wouldn't think you are in the same specific location where you always spend like waste time. And what you're doing is you are playing with your subconscious mind to not expect what's going to happen next. So by being here, by being in this area right here, you have the stimulus. This is how I'm linking to the previous point. You're creating the stimulus. So whatever as long as you're sitting down here at this corner, you have the stimuli to encourage you to waste time. But then if you change the room, okay, so I'm actually going to put this as a different room. Let's say the living room. You go there and you put your laptop or whatever. You're actually going to realize that you have more of an empty your mind because there's no longer the stimuli or past memories that tells you, oh, I should actually be having fun in this particular location. So this is really important. So this is actually going to be the third one, which is block stimulus. And by the way, this is inevitable. You're going to be encountering a lot of stimulus every single day. The moment you open your IG, your TikTok, whatever it was, you're going to have the algorithms which are trained over the past whatever time, like however long you've been using these apps. They're trying to control you in a matter that they want you to watch them, right? So for that reason, you need to either ignore or just avoid like opening social media. In fact, I personally don't even have IG on my phone. I'll explain. I don't have my personal IG on my phone, but I have my branded dropshipping product IG pages on my phone. So yeah, I just open my social media platforms to upload and then I quit, like I exit. So that's how you block stimulus. So let's quickly analyze what I said so far. Number one, you need to create a list of what are the things which you need to let go. Number two, decide how to take action on them every single day. So today, I'm gonna remove the bad habits. Tomorrow, I'm gonna start saying no to bad influence friends. The next day, I'm gonna change up my environment and so on, okay? Third one, blocking stimulus. So this could be dopamine, primarily dopamine. And there's a lot of ways. You would be surprised how many ways you are using to source dopamine every single day. You need to understand what are these sources, and then you have to block them. So whether it's with video games, whether it's with entertainment, TV, Netflix, whatever it was, block all of them. So the sources, you need to find them by backtracking and then cut them out. Okay? Next point. Once you have, by the way, these 3 steps are already going to make you feel like you have changed your life in a way, because you're going to realize that you have way less baggage. Like just by letting go or, cutting off your bad influence friends, trust me, your life is going to change. Another example is if you are the type of person who fears what they might be thought of or whether they're going to be judged by others for posting about a certain thing or taking on this new side hustle, trust me, just letting go of that account completely and then creating a new one is going to change your life. So once you do these, next step is actually very easy. So these are the hardest. Number 4 is to have new knowledge. So you want to replace the old. So this is your brain. If you do the first 3 things properly, let's say it was 100% full with baggage, now it's like maybe 50%. So you want to re-nourish the other 50% by learning about the new thing you want to do. So now you need to learn the new thing and you want to do it in silence. Obviously, you want to work on it. You don't want to, one really important thing, you don't want to take other people's opinions. So let's say you want to learn about e-com. You don't want to go talk about it to all of your friends. I'll tell you why. I usually don't like this advice, which everyone keeps saying all the time, like don't speak out loud about what you want to do. I would argue it's actually good to have the courage to speak out your mind. So let's say my goal for next year is to make 100K a month. As large or as crazy this goal is, might seem, I think it's very doable. But you need to actually back up this statement with the work. So I would argue that maybe at the start you can keep it low key, work on what you want. Once you start seeing momentum, start seeing results, that's when you could, start having more courage to speak about it, and then letting others know about your goals. And I'll tell you why it's actually important. It's actually important for one thing, which is accountability. So if I state right now that next year, around in Q4, I'm gonna make 100K minimum a month, then that means I will put more pressure on myself that by the end of next year, I need to, fulfill this goal. Otherwise, I am letting myself down and then others who believe in me. So it's a very important thing, which I should have maybe explained like number one, but we're gonna get to it here, which is gonna accompany every single decision you're gonna make here, by the way, which is the mind. You need to have an iron mind. And this, I'm gonna explain it. This is the most important because this will actually make everything feel easier, by the way. Let's get into it. So hopefully you understand the knowledge is action. Okay, you don't want to just learn without taking action. So knowledge plus action is you're gonna realize, by the way, once you start learning the new thing, you're gonna only think about it. Like once you remove all the baggage, you're gonna realize that you have peace of mind. So at that point, you're like, okay, what now? So once you start learning ecom, branded dropshipping, you're gonna realize that all you wanna think about or all you wanna learn about is organic dropshipping. So this is gonna be making you more excited, and you need to accompany it with action. But iron mind is really important for being able to execute these things. So, one, as I was saying earlier, you need to be accountable. When I was young, I actually thought that this was not a thing. I remember this one time I was wondering, why would people argue or fight over them saying something and then not doing it, for example. So let's say for 2026, you set a new goal that you want to hit the gym every single day. Now, the problem is, if you end up not going to the gym every single day, you're still going to live fine. You're going to do what? Life will continue, right? There's nothing too big about it. But here's a problem. If you actually say that yourself, or even to others, and then you end up going once and then you quit, the most person who's going to be harmed out of this is actually you, because even if you don't feel it right now, but deep down, subconsciously, you're going to break your self-confidence because you said something and then you didn't do it. And this is, by the way, this is the underlying factor to why people gain power. Power is compounding effect. You gain power by saying things, whether it is to yourself or to others, and then doing them. Because if you do them long enough, you're going to become so powerful to the point where people would actually respect your word. That's one. And then two, they would actually listen to you more and fear your word in a way. So if you ever say something, they would actually respect it to the point where they actually change their behavior to it. So you would bend other things based off your word. So that's how powerful words are, and words have energy. You need to understand this. That's why this is really important. You need to take this very seriously. And it's very sad because even personally, whenever I break my own word, for example, I say I want to post 5 times a day for my brand, and then I post 4 times or I post 2 times or whatever, the next day I feel terrible, literally. And then feeling terrible is going to make me angry, and then this anger is going to be fueling my next day of work. So you could argue it's an ongoing cycle, but the moment you acknowledge that you are accountable about it, so there's people who might say it, but then they wouldn't even have any sort of emotion towards it. So they would say, I'm gonna post 5 times. They end up posting once or twice, and then they sleep normally, they wake up normally, and then they create new goals and they never do it. But no, personally, if I create, which I create goals every day, so posting 5 times a day, for example, many times by the way, I end up posting like 3 or 4. Next day, I would be furious about it, but this is actually a really good thing because I've said this in the past. In my opinion, anger, like controlled anger, out of all of the other emotions, so sadness, whatever the other ones are, anger is actually the best one for work. Because if you have anger, first of all, you could just, out of the ROI, so if you fuel your work with anger, personally, from personal experience, I feel like it has the highest ROI in terms of execution. So you would do the best quality work when you're angry about something. I'll give you a very good example. Let's say you speak out your goals in front of your colleagues or whatever, and then everyone laughs at you. You're gonna feel you can either feel one of the two, okay, or three. You could either feel angry about it, sad about it, or just I don't want to even think about the emotion what that might is gonna take power of me. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is, if you speak out and then everyone laughs, and then you change your goal based off their reaction to you, that means you're gonna be like them, right? But if you're angry and then you put that into work, trust me, the work is gonna be 5x in terms of speed and execution. So this is the best way to look at things, guys, because if you ever encounter anything which, you know, provokes some sort of emotion out of you, especially when people doubt you, the best way to think about it is to remember this memory, and then whenever you feel weak, you pull up one of these memories, you remember it, and then it sparks this anger so that you fuel your work. So remember every single person who ever doubted you, and then whenever you ever feel like you want to be comfortable, lay in bed, or just not do the work, pull up these cards, remember them, put in the work. Trust me, this is a like life hack. Next point, which is in this category, discipline. And discipline is not easy to do, but it's something you build. And this is my personal experience. Like, I promise you guys, this is the best way to build discipline. If you have faith, so faith in the universe, faith in God, faith in something, it will help your discipline. So, in particular, if you have faith that, by the way, I don't want you to replace hard work with faith. They accompany each other. I don't want to get too much into this, but you need to actually understand that if you don't put in the work with the faith, it won't work. Really important. So these are together because I've realized faith actually builds discipline, and this is really important because it actually makes you a better person overall. So really important. Next point. So we started with sacrifice, with order and taking action, blocking stimulus, learning new things, and then the iron mind to actually be able to take these actions. Next thing is, which needs to be done, is consistency. This is what is going to make everything make sense, because you cannot just get fired up after this, do one thing, for example, look for a new product, and then sleep, and then tomorrow go back to your normal life. No, you actually need to do this every single day, because especially when I first started, like researching about, taking a different path, which was like 3.5 years ago or 4, I would do it like once a week. Like I would get fired up by a random video. I would open up searching like trading, crypto, e-com, and so on, like the shiny object syndrome thing. And then I would read about it one day, and then I remember just like going back to my normal routine, which is gaming, um, studying, and so on. So trust me, you need to actually lock in on one thing and do it every single day, whether it's learning ecom, for example. So you need to every single day learn about it, and then once you feel like you have the fundamentals to taking action, start taking actions every day, and then you will realize that these two will accompany each other and you will see results eventually. So there's literally no losing once you start taking action every single day. Trust me. And this is one thing which I always say to everyone, especially with organic dropshipping. So organic dropshipping is literally one of the highest value skills because it's the same as growing a personal brand or any sort of pages on social media. It requires you to post every day. So it teaches us organic dropshipping that we need to post a minimum of 2 to 3 times a day, long enough to see results. And the beauty of it is it teaches us that eventually you're going to go viral, but the better you are and the better quality you provide, the sooner you're going to go viral. So it's not a matter of when will I gain attention. It's like every single day, if you take action, okay, so if you get into organic dropshipping and then you start posting every day, you're going to gain leads every single day. So you're technically winning every single day as long as you're creating and posting. But then the beauty of it is you have this lottery ticket, which is the virality to it, which may happen any single day of the week. So as long as you are taking action in the sense that you're creating, you're posting for your brand, and you're doing it long enough, eventually you're going to go viral. So that's the beauty of it. And without this, if you have all the other five, you have the knowledge, the iron mind, you have the perfect everything, but then you don't take action on a daily basis, 24/7, nothing's going to happen. So this is actually the winner of the day, and this is what is going to build you an empire of whatever you are striving for. So really important, guys. These are my 6 pillars for today, and honestly these are what I had to waste years trying to learn, but I broke it down for you guys in like 30 minutes or something. So hopefully you guys take this very seriously and apply changes from today and take action now every single day. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Peace out.